Hello, and
Hi.
you're, you're welcome to my channel. I know who you are, obviously, but I'll let you introduce yourself. So please go ahead.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Muyuluwa Ogunjobi. So you must have seen me, or you might have seen me on Facebook at the girl that scored 8 A1s and a B2 in a WAEC and 351 in JAMB. I'm 15 years old and I'm here.
Oh, wow, that's very impressive. So, besides your JAM score, you scored 351 in JAM. You had, in this just released WAEC result, you had 8 A1s and 1 B in WAEC. And I also learned that in the previous year, that was last year, you also wrote GC and you had 7 A's, which
Is
is
yes.
which is super amazing. So this is clearly not just some strike of luck. There's something you are doing and you are doing it very well. And many of us, we really want to know this. Actually, I put it up that I was going to interview you, and many people have
Okay.
been asking questions, and I'm going to ask you all of those questions. I myself, I have
Um,
questions. How have you been consistently having these great results? But before we go there, before you answer all those questions, I just want to ask you how you feel when you saw the result from each exams. How you felt when you saw your JAM, your WAEC, and your GC
okay.
results. You could start
Okay.
from the
So
GC first because that was the first.
okay, so JAM came out first. And
Okay.
for JAM, let me be sincere, I was surprised
Okay.
because I had a target of like 330.
Wow.
So I wasn't expecting to see 351. And then when I saw, I was like, oh my God, what is this? How did this happen? But like I am very grateful. Like I'm just happy that all my hard work paid off. And for WAEC, I expected it. If I had gotten anything like less than 8 A's, I would have not been happy with the results. So like I really worked hard to get that 8 A's,
Wow.
and I'm happy that it came out well.
Nice. So for your GC, you wrote it in SS2 when you were in SS2.
No, it was actually SS3 first term.
Oh, wow, wow. And you
Yes, I
had
think
seven.
COVID changed the timetable.
Okay, okay, okay. So that is you saw for the white result, you saw it coming.
Yes, yes.
But for the jam, you didn't see that coming.
No, at all. I was not expecting it.
Okay, you're actually among the top 1% students in jam this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe you'll be among the first 20 on the list. Jam actually released the first 10, but I believe you'll be somewhere around the first 20 on the list. So I'm going to just go with the questions and people ask on social media and some of the questions I personally have on myself. So the first
Okay.
question is, how did you prepare for your WAEC? How did you prepare for it? Let's start with that.
Hmm. Okay, so should I talk about WAEC and JAM or just
Okay,
WAEC?
yeah, you could just talk about everything since you prepared for all of them at about the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and the syllabus for JAMB and WAEC is quite similar as well. So you could
Okay.
just go ahead and talk about both.
All right. So for WAEC, it's not like purely my work because I started from school. My teachers, like they teach, they give, classwork, assignments, tests, exams, and things like that. And I feel like they had like a really, really great impact on my success. They really like they're one of the people that really motivated me that I can shoot for like a very high score. In fact, they wanted me to get 9 A's. I don't know why English had to fail me,
Oh, that's
but like what I have.
actually someone commented that JAM ought to review your result and give you the A in English. Like, how would they do that?
Yeah,
I mean, WAEC rather. I meant WAEC. They're supposed to just give you that A in English, but it,
it was painful, but at least it was better than GC. As me, I got lower than GC, then that would have been really, really bad.
okay,
But
okay.
it was still okay. So for JAM, I did a lot of self-study because JAM was like it was a bit outside of school curriculum.
Yeah,
So how I studied, first things first, I just go through my notes and like the first thing I did was to go through the syllabus
okay.
of JAM. Then I go through what I have been taught in school and what I have not been taught, things that are in my notes and things that are not there. And then I start with other things I've not been taught. Like I use like, my textbook, like textbooks were like my best friend during JAM. I think I used LAMLAD for my chemistry, physics, and mathematics. Then for English, I used Invisible Teacher, then JAM's use of English. because like they were like my best friends then. So, like I used my textbook a lot for JAMB. And like when I didn't do a lot of past questions in JAMB, because I know people that they depended solely on past questions, and I don't think it really helped. But like what I did when I go through a topic, I would like, okay, go up and check the topic in the JAMB past questions. My JAMB booklet had like a list of all the topics and the years and questions that they were in, and like that was what I did. And also the TTA group, right? It was very, very helpful. It was even through TTA that I came across the Lamla textbooks and many past questions and tutorials, like things I did not even know before.
That's
So,
great.
and WAEC too, similar things, past questions and study. But I think one thing that really helped me was that I already had a solid foundation or in these subjects from
Okay, from
SS1 and 2.
school. Yeah, by the
That
way,
was why
what secondary school did you attend?
I attended Home Science Association Secondary School in Alakoko, Lagos
Oh,
State.
yeah, kudos to your teachers. They did a great job.
Yes, they really did a great job.
Okay.
Because when I was studying for JAM, like I would meet people that would ask me, okay, will you please help me to solve this question? And like I noticed that they did not understand the basics. So I did a lot of last minute studying in JAM. And I felt if I did not have like a solid foundation before, I could have not been able to like achieve so much in like such small time.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
the solid foundation is very necessary.
Yeah, it's very, very
Okay.
important.
Yeah. So how long did it take you to prepare for your JAMB? And for why I would say that I know that it took you the whole of your secondary school because it's a
Yes.
continuous thing. So, but for JAMB, that is a little outside no, it's within the secondary school curriculum, but there's a different
It's a
touch
bit
to JAMB.
advanced.
Yeah. So, how long did it take you? How many months precisely did it take you? Do you think it took you to prepare for the
Okay, so for JAM, my school started JAM classes in January.
Okay.
And like I was just, and then we also have normal classes, so it was like JAM and normal class. And like I was just trying to balance the two. But
Sorry,
like about
you were still in SS3 when you wrote JAMB.
yes, I was in
Okay.
SS3.
Go
So
on.
about a month to JAM, that was when I sat down like, hey, this thing is serious. So like it is real. And like I was really, really scared I was going to fail. I think that was what even made me like read a lot. Like I was scared that because people already expected me to have good grades. Like a teacher called me behind and told me that you must not get anything less than 330. So like that was what even made me set my goal to 330. And I was looking at this one like, are you sure it's possible? And like I already know a lot of people, they had high hopes and I could not like let them down. So like I sat down and I said, okay, we have to start practicing like real hard. I have to start reviewing whatever I've been taught. I have to like doing my own self-study. That was even how I went to YouTube and I came across your channel, that I was able to get the link to the TTA WhatsApp group. So I started practicing for JAM about a month, like serious study about a month to JAM.
Yeah, like one key takeaway from what you just said is like preparing. It is very important to have the basic knowledge, fundamentals of all the subjects you are doing. Another thing is like networking, meeting other students too can actually be very helpful. Like the way the group was helpful to you. So if you are preparing for people that will be preparing for the subsequent exams, try to connect with fellow JAMB students.
It's very, very important to connect to because it really helped me.
Okay. So the next question is, and this was a very common question. Many people would like to know how you actually study. What technique do you use? And like some of the questions, I think one particular question was like, the girl don't chop juju. Yeah, because
no big juju. Now God.
yeah, it's good. So how do you study? What techniques do you use? What secrets do you have that is making you consistently do well?
Okay, so I think the first thing when you want to study is to know what you actually want to do, like what you want to study. For my JAM, I did math, physics, chemistry, and English. So like the two subjects I was very good at were math and physics, and chemistry and English were like sort of my weaknesses. So when I started studying for JAM, I knew I had to work a lot on English and chemistry. So next thing I did, I set down like a suitable time. I like to read in the night, like in the midnight, because it's always very, very quiet and cool. And like it's only me. So, like I set my study to like around that 1 a.m. to maybe 4. And I do a lot of work. Most of my work is like during those hours. Now, next thing I've said earlier that you should go through the syllabus, because there were some things that normally, if I had studied on my own without going through the syllabus, I would have skipped them. But like going through the syllabus helping to know that, okay, these topics were important. So go through past questions, not for studying, but to know the pattern of questions and to know which questions are most likely to come out. Because if you go through past questions over the years, you know how questions come out, how they set questions. Like there are some topics that they will not ask you to define something. Like there's a way they will, set the question. So there are some questions that once you just see the question, you already know what the answer is, even without looking at the options. Now, my study techniques, I like to read from a lot of textbooks. But like during that month, I did not have a lot of time. So that was why I employed LAMLAD, because LAMLAD is I don't know how to put it. It is like descriptive, but also very short, and it helps like grasp things a lot. And there are also practice questions at the end of each topic. So as I'm studying, I did most of my things from LAMLAD. So like if I say, okay, I want to study this topic, I go to LAMLAD, read what LAMLAD has to say, then go to JAMB past questions to like practice like some questions. So when you have a short time, don't waste a lot of time doing only past questions, because there are some questions that like in some questions, like I think, let me take all-inclusive physics, for example. Okay. Like it can have like a lot of questions on a particular topic, but if you will notice that like 5 questions, they are the same pattern. It's just the figures that were changed. So don't waste a lot of time doing things that doesn't do that you've already known, and like focus on like more important things.
Yeah. Okay, that's very okay. Yeah. Go on.
So for English, that one, it really gave me a lot of headache. In fact, my English, I think English was one where I did most of my past questions, because English does not have one definite path to follow. You have to be like diverse. You have to go through different things. So English, I had a book where I like jotted down a lot of things, especially those words, those big grammar. Like you jot down their meanings, maybe their applications, synonyms and antonyms and things like that. I still have the book self. And for my life changer, I read it like maybe like 2 weeks. Like I read Life Changer before around December, but like so I felt like I knew it, so I didn't need to read it again. And then I now answered one question on Life Changer. I did not know it. A simple question like, so I went to Life Changer. I like started writing every single detail, even from the color of the clothes and everything. So I feel like you should just try to be extensive, but also try to like cut down a lot of junk, because most of the things in some past questions, you don't need them.
All right. Yes. So the next question is, how many hours do you read each day? Like on normal, when we're not preparing for these exams, when you were in secondary school, how frequent do you read, and how many hours does it take you to read? And during this exam period, how many hours did you read then?
Okay. So when I was in school, I would mostly like spend my time after school doing assignments and studying for tests. But let's say I get them around 6, I probably start reading around 8 till like whenever I get tired, which is around maybe 10 to 11. Then sometimes I may now like wake up early the next day, maybe around 3 or 4, before like I start preparing for school around 5. But like during JAM, I had like these 2 weeks. My school let us stay at home for 2 weeks before JAM. And like I had like a lot of free time. So like I did like a normal school period. I would wake up 5 and like I start reading around maybe like that 7 to, or maybe in the afternoon. But like between those hours, I obviously take breaks. So let's say on a normal school day, apart from school, at home, maybe like 3 to 4 hours. Then weekends is like more than that, obviously. Then when I was at home, I don't really know, but let me just say 8. It might have not been up to 8, but let me just put around that time, because in the afternoon, I don't really do a lot of study like that in the afternoon. It's mostly in the midnight. That's when I can really concentrate.
So how many hours do you sleep? How many hours do you sleep? You said you read at midnight. When you
when I was in school, I used to sleep in class a lot, because I don't sleep a lot at home. I don't even know how many hours, but I know I don't sleep anymore. Maybe like if I sleep off, I sleep off for my work. Maybe I sleep like 11, 12, and I'll still have to wake up 5 in the morning to get ready for school.
Oh,
So you can calculate that.
yeah. By
But
the
like
way,
during that
okay.
jam, I did take my sleep. I slept. I know I slept down.
Yeah, sleep is important too. Make sure you sleep too, as you already had. Sleep well. But I'm kind of an advocate for sleep. All right.
Yes.
So the next question is, what advice would you be having for students, secondary school students that are still in secondary school that are going to be taking these exams in the future? What
Okay.
advice do you have for them?
So first things first, don't see it as something you cannot achieve. Because I've heard people that will be like, 351, you are not in our league, or you were created by someone else. It's not God that made this one, no. But like they can't do it. Like there was this girl in my jam center before we started the exam. She told me that a cutoff mark for her school was 200, and she was aiming for a score of 260. And that's why 260, why not 300? Like the highest score in jam is 400. And most people get around that, 200 and something. So like if you now reduce your own threshold to 260, what are you now going to get? Like she had already rubbish, like she had already like reduced herself from the start, even before the exam. So don't do that. Always like know that you can do, with adequate preparation, you can do it. Now, second, I think you should prepare for the worst jam exam ever. Like see your exam as like the most difficult jam that will ever come out, like, and like use that as motivation to really, really, study and pray for the best. Like, so like what you're doing, you're preparing for like the most difficult exam, but you're praying to God that you get, easy questions. Because I feel like, we all did different jam. So my questions were questions that they were not easy questions, but like they were questions that I knew and I knew how to solve. I even had problems during my exam, but like because I already knew them, it was easy for me to like, find my way through. So always prepare for the most difficult exams. Now, 3, you should start your preparation early. I think that was one of the mistakes I made in JAM, but my advantage was that I already had a good foundation. So start early, like at least 3 months to your exam, especially if you have not been in school for a long time, so you can know how to go about it. Then my last one, try to connect with other JAMBites, with other students that are also writing the exams with you, whether it is WAEC or JAM, and try to know things from their own point of view. And if you are a good student, try to practice by teaching others.
Yeah.
Because when I was in TTA, there are like people that will contact me, okay, Moi, let's do this study thing, Moi, let's read, let's do this. And like even me, as I was like explaining things to them, there were things I was learning along the process. And there are things that like they will just never leave you because it's already part and parcel of you. So I try to teach others, connect with other people. And if you need help and you truly need help, you should meet your teachers if you're still in school, or your classmates that they know it, or you should go for tutorials. Some people, I don't know, they don't really like to go for tutorials. Just sit down at home and be reading past questions. If you know you need help, go for tutorials. If you know you can do it on your own, then do it on your own.
Oh, that's a wonderful advice. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, this is going to be the last question. Well, you don't have to answer this question because I know I've spoken to quite a number of students. I know some people don't like to disclose their plan for the future. So it's clear and glaring you have a very great result, and you're going to be writing post-UME soon, or you may be planning something else, and your chances of getting admission is very high. So my question is, what are you planning for the future? What university are you planning to choose, or have you chosen? And what are you going to be doing with this your results, basically?
What will I be doing when?
Like, what will you be doing with your result? Which university are you going to be choosing? Or are you planning to jackpot?
Okay, so I think that jackpot is actually my top option.
Okay.
Because I actually plan on going to a federal university, but like the strike and the age limit is not going to be that easy. So I want to study computer science or computer engineering, just something along that computing field in university. But I'm most likely not going to go to Nigerian universities because I'm already having plans for universities abroad.
Yeah, that's great. Like Nigeria education system is like really discouraging. Like, can you
Yes.
imagine now we've been on strike for almost 6 months?
For like 6 months.
And it's still counting. Really.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and any person that is also watching this, she's just an evidence that you too can also achieve this if you put your mind to it. Just, someone once told me that target the sun. So if you don't meet the sun, you can land on the moon. So don't belittle what you're capable of achieving. And I wish you guys success as well. So
Yes.
thank you very much, Monyolua, for your time. I really do
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Medic.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.
And that is the end of the interview. I hope you found it educating and inspiring. So I want to make a quick announcement. First is that if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe to the channel, as we're going to be making more educating and inspiring content like this. And secondly, the TTA she talked about in the video means the team of top achievers, and this is basically a brainstorming accountability study group which we created for JAMB. But now we've been working very hard on this thing, and we are trying to expand it more than just brainstorming and accountability group. We want to add tutorials to it where we are going to be teaching you as well as giving you opportunities to meet with other students. So if you think you're going to be taking the next JAMB, or you know people that will be taking the next JAMB and you're interested in this, subscribe to the channel. We are going to be announcing when our classes are going to be starting. But there's another option for you to join our email list. We are going to be sending a mail to you when our classes are starting, so you are not going to miss it out. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.